Hey there, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are having another 2022 MLB mock draft. Now, I changed up some things from last week, a lot of movement, a lot of shifting, and that's why you want to be subscribed to the channel so you do not miss out on any of the changes that I make to my MLB mock drafts. There's a lot of change that constantly happens throughout the course of the season. As we're getting closer, we're getting a little more refined in our mocks. So looking at the first overall pick, I have switched it up. I have Druw Jones going. Obviously, I think there's a lot to love about him as a prospect. He's good. He has good size. He's a moldable player, really terrific athlete, smooth swing, a guy that can hit for contact and power. Overall, I love what Druw Jones brings to that next level. I think the Baltimore Orioles are going to be needing a star. And I really think that's what Druw Jones brings to the table, can be a super dynamic player for him. Honestly, with his excellent athleticism, and he's a premier defender on top of it, he's a home run pick to me. And I think Baltimore would be kind of hard pressed to, pass on a guy this talented first overall. So that is why I went ahead and went with the former son of Andruw Jones. And I think that if you're the Baltimore Orioles, you have to be looking for a guy like this to really right the ship here. You already have Adley Rutschman. You have a lot of great prospects coming. Now you add Druw Jones into the mix, and you are going to be a dangerous team in the future. Now, moving on to number 2, I have Elijah Green. And looking at what Elijah Green is really good at, he has probably the most raw power in the entire draft. Considering how much pop he has in his bat is super exciting with the upside there. Great arm, and also he is a projectable center fielder. I think that the Arizona Diamondbacks could be getting their long-term center field option here in Elijah Green. Once again, a terrific defender, but the one big concern about him is the kind of the hole in his swing. He swings and misses a lot, which is common for a high school prospect. But at the end of the day, when you have this much power, this much moldability, I think that you shouldn't shy away from a prospect that has a couple things he needs to tweak at the next, at the professional level, but you're really banking on some true upside here in a guy like Elijah Green from IMG Academy. Once again, can be that long-term outfielding option. The next pick here, we have the Texas Rangers. And the Texas Rangers, to me, I could see them going with Kevin Parada from Georgia Tech, one of the hottest hitters in all of college baseball. And I think that's been pretty clear and evident as he continues to rise up boards, a guy that at the next level will be able to hit to all different fields. And I think looking at the power numbers as well, he's going to be a home run hitter once he hits the major leagues. He's good enough defensively to stay at catcher, and really no concerns with that one. So the Texas Rangers, in an organization that, I feel needs to add a little bit more, to their catching prospects, Parada is the perfect option for them here at number 3. At number 4, we had the Pittsburgh Pirates, and this is a guy that ended up going 1 in my mock draft last week, slips a little bit. Brooks Lee from Cal Poly, super advanced hitter, a guy that very well could stay at that shortstop position long-term. I think he has the glove to do so. He has the arm to do so. And honestly just has, really good reaction time, with the ball off the bat. And looking at the Pittsburgh Pirates here, I think Brooks Lee's another guy you can have a little bit of versatility with the fact that he is such an advanced hitter, coming out of Cal Poly. I think that's kind of attractive for a team like Pittsburgh, a guy that can once again, hit for average at that next level. And I think the Pittsburgh Pirates offensively could use that boost heading into the future. So going ahead and selecting a guy like Brooks Lee, to me, makes a lot of sense. Now, number 5, we have the son of Matt Holliday. That is Jackson Holliday out of Stillwater High School in Oklahoma. The Washington Nationals, to me, I felt were kind of eyeing up Parada to be that catching prospect for them. They're going to go ahead and settle for a guy like Jackson Holliday, who is a terrific prospect in his own right. So I think we need to start, putting some respect on his name. Not only is he the son of a MLB player, obviously a legend for the Colorado Rockies, but he has a lot of great tools that are moldable for the next level. Good athlete, quick hands. I think when you look defensively, he should be a pretty good defensive shortstop. So Jackson Holliday, to me, makes a lot of sense for this Nationals team because you can plug and play him a lot of different places. With his glove, I think the Washington Nationals are not making a mistake here. I like this at number 5 for them. Moving on to the Miami Marlins, Termarr Johnson out of Mays High School in Georgia. Now, this guy probably has the most pure swing of the prep players coming out. I think that's true. There's a lot of projectable upside with him. With such a good swing, his long-term power is something that teams should be excited about. You know, he's not the biggest player in terms of, muscle wise, but I think when you get him into a professional training room, this guy definitely is going to have some long-term pop. So that's exciting for the Miami Marlins, a team that's looking to bank on upside. We look at Khalil Watson last year. He ended up falling to 16 to the Marlins. And I think once again, you're falling into a situation where Termarr Johnson drops a little bit in this mock draft and the Marlins jump all over that opportunity and they go ahead and select him 6th overall. So love this for Miami. And jumping ahead, we have the Chicago Cubs. Now, Jace Jung is one of those players that hits for a lot of power. He can hit for contact. But the rare thing about him is he's not having a lot of those swing and misses. He's not one of those guys striking out a ton, even with that power. That's why I like him so much as a prospect. The glove is not elite by any stretch of the imagination. So let's make that clear when evaluating Jace Jung. The glove's not super elite. However, I think the Chicago Cubs are in a position where they can add a dynamic hitter here at number 7, and they should go ahead and take advantage of that opportunity. Jace Jung is a super advanced hitter once again. Coming out of Texas Tech, he's a polished product, offensively. So that makes sense to me for the Chicago Cubs to go ahead and pull the trigger there. And now at number 8, we have the Minnesota Twins, Daniel Suzak from Arizona. And this is a player that's got a big time arm. His bat also really came around as well. He was a switch hitter. Then he decided to go ahead and focus more on just hitting from the right side of the plate, dropped the switch hitting designation, focused on being a right-handed hitter, and that has proven to be good for him. Once again, this is an athletic catcher that I think the Minnesota Twins, with an organization that definitely needs some more catching prospects, I think this is a ideal landing spot. I also think they're considering pitcher at this position. However, I go ahead and go with a guy like Daniel Suzak. The next one is Cam Collier from Chipola Junior College. And despite him only being 17 years old, he dominated the junior college level. And I mean, absolutely dominated. A good thick frame, a guy that's going to be able to hit for a little bit of pop. And I think he's an exciting prospect. At the same time, you have the Kansas City Royals who, could be looking, potentially to move him different positions, but he has the arm to stay at third. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see if they do draft him a couple years down the line. What does that look like, considering he is such a young prospect? Playing at the junior college level, he was great. So I think the Kansas City Royals are in a really good position here at number 9. Following that up, we have pick number 10, Colorado Rockies, Jacob Berry, the Arizona transfer who had hit really well at Arizona, comes to LSU, and he's still hitting at an elite clip. Once again, one of those guys that hits all fields. And I think the Colorado Rockies would be kind of hard pressed not to take him, because looking at what he can do with the bat in his hands, I think this Rockies organization is going to continue to build off of some of the hitters. They need some guys that, can hit for average. And that's what Jacob Berry is going to do. Good OPS this year. And also looking at him, we don't exactly know if he's going to be a third baseman or a corner outfielder. It provides a little bit of optionality for this Colorado Rockies organization. So going ahead and selecting him at number 10 is a good move, in my opinion. Now, number 11, Brock Porter from St. Mary's High School. Now, Brock Porter, I think, the Mets are going to go ahead, give it the good old college try once again. Throws that mid-90s fastball, really, really good command of his breaking pitches, which is something that's super important for this organization. The Mets are going to continue to add prospects, especially right-handers, into this whole organization, and they're going to see what they can do. I think that the Mets have been obviously great this year, but I mean, a younger prospect like Brock Porter for the next wave, he's a little ways out, but at the end of the day, Brock Porter is still a terrific prospect when you're looking at him holistically. Number 12, we have the Detroit Tigers, and Gavin Cross, once again, he's got a really nice combination of speed and powers, which that is something that's moldable. That's something that you want to be bringing to the next level. It's very, very hard, obviously, to teach both of those things. Having the speed is almost unteachable, and then power. It's really great when they're able to come right out of college with some, good power numbers. And I think Gavin Cross would be a perfect fit into this Tigers organization that obviously have Riley Green. And then now you go ahead and add a guy like Gavin Cross, who should be ready sooner rather than later. So taking him at 12 to me makes a lot of sense. Now at number 13, we have the Angels. And when looking at the Angels, I think this has been a common point for most of their, time with Mike Trout. The big issue has been, can they put enough around Mike Trout starting pitching wise? And to me, they've definitely done a better job in more recent years. However, this is a player that could be a good projectable left-handed pitcher for them. Good command, works well around the zone. And for a team that definitely needs to add more starting pitching depth in the minors, adding a left-hander in particular is good to me. Robbie Snelling from McQueen High School could be a really, really good addition for them. Now at number 14, we have one of the most exciting prospects in the entire class. That's Justin Crawford from Bishop Gorman High School. This is the son of Carl Crawford. Once again, MLB bloodlines. Justin Crawford has a really good frame, exciting speed, terrific athlete in general. This is one of those guys that you're banking on some big time potential. And for the New York Mets organization, adding another terrific outfielder would be ideal for them. And the New York Mets honestly are taking a little bit of a chance with a guy like Justin Crawford, but looking at what his upside is, I think it's hard to not get super pumped about what he can bring to the table. At the end of the day, you have to be mindful of, getting some of those guys in your organization that are worth the risk. And that's what Justin Crawford is going to be. Now I have Jackson Ferris from IMG Academy, a guy that continues to drive or climb up draft boards. San Diego Padres are an organization that very well could be looking at more starting pitching. They've made that kind of a point of emphasis lately in some of the trades that they've made. But at the end of the day, I think they're going to continue to add to that, adding another left-handed pitcher, another prep arm from IMG. I think this is a good move for them long-term. Definitely have to continue to build up some of the minor league level pitching, and more specifically in the starter realm. At number 16, we have Chase DeLauder from James Madison University. This guy has a terrific frame. You're kind of looking at a guy that's 6'5", 235 pounds. For me, I think he's going to be a corner outfielder. I think that's pretty clear and obvious at that next level. He's going to be that corner outfielder. Even at James Madison, he was hitting over 400. I don't know if I think that's still true currently, but with the start that he got off to at James Madison, it's impressive. Chase DeLauder is one of those big projectable corner outfielders that can hit the ball consistently. So getting that college bat for the Cleveland Guardians, a team that is going to be needing more and more hitting as time goes on. They do a really nice job finding pitching prospects, but at the end of the day, they need to add some more hitting to that organization, more specifically in that outfield. And then the next one here, we have the Phillies, Sterling Thompson from Florida. This is one of two Florida players in that outfield that are draftable in the first round. So that's something to keep in mind. Philadelphia Phillies are an organization that, once again, they will be looking for some outfield help. I don't think that that's a secret at this point. Looking at their organization, I think this is definitely where they can look. Sterling Thompson, terrific college player, adding that tried and true college bat to this Phillies organization that is kind of more so in a win now mode and trying to find their window. I think that makes a lot of sense for them to get an established bat considering timeline. At number 18, we have Jordan Beck, who's got some big time power, huge power, good frame. But once again, he's got some very, very concerning swing and miss issues to his game. So once again, I think that, that's going to make him slide a little bit, but the overall upside to me is really there for this kid. I think the Cincinnati Reds are going to be looking for a guy that could be game breaking in terms of his power. And that's exactly what Jordan Beck provides out of Tennessee. Number 19, we have the Athletics, and, Dylan Lesko is one of those guys that has really fallen under the radar. And I think that's somewhat unfair because One of the best starting pitchers in all of the prep arms. He has great command, a terrific curveball. However, the issue with him is going under Tommy John surgery made him fall. Very well could have been a top 10 selection. Tommy John kind of pushes him back a little bit in the mock draft, but if he's able to get healthy, this is one of the best pitchers in the entire class for sure. And you're getting him at 19. I think this is awesome value for the Athletics. Following that up, Brandon Barrera, excuse me, from American Heritage is a terrific prospect. And when you look at what he was able to do at American Heritage, granted he was undersized, this is a player that you can really trust in a rotation. He's a little ways out yet. Very, very projectable at the next level to be a terrific player. Has a mid-90s fastball, nasty slider, but the frame is something that may be a concern for teams. And looking at it, I think the Atlanta Braves are in a really good position here to add an arm that, high upside, high talent, and honestly getting this left-handed arm this late in the draft is really impressive. Now, Cooper Jerp from Oregon State has been on an absolute roll. I think when you're considering where this team is at, they definitely need to add a few more lefties into this organization, pump that in there. He's a pitcher that's got really good command, nice breaking slider, also a changeup that is the perfect complementary pitch for what they're looking for in a repertoire. So Cooper Jerp is a player that I could see Seattle definitely jumping on here at 21. He's going to be a nice rotation arm for years to come. Now at 22, we have Landon Sims, and Landon Sims has an interesting story considering that he was in that bullpen for Mississippi State for 2 years, and then all of a sudden becomes a starter. Terrific, nasty stuff from him. The one problem, unfortunately, is that he just had Tommy John, considering he's got the high 90s fastball with a elite level slider is going to be enough for a team to go ahead and pull the trigger here. That's what the Cardinals are going to do with the 22nd pick. 23, we have Noah Schultz from Oswego East High School, another left-handed pitcher in this class that is pretty interesting considering he doesn't have high velocity. He's got a low 90s fastball, but he's got a very, very sweeping slider. Now, this is a guy that horizontally is going to cover a lot with that slider. That's what's going to really sell the Blue Jays on this high school kid coming out of Oswego. Looking at this organization, I think another left-handed arm would be super beneficial to their long-term outlook, in my opinion. So Noah Schultz here at 23. 24, we have the Boston Red Sox, Judd Fabian from Florida. This is the other prospect I'm talking about, a guy that can hit to all fields and is a pretty good defender. Looking at the Boston Red Sox, I think adding a little bit more organizational depth in the outfield could be very, very beneficial to this team. 25, we have the New York Yankees, and the New York Yankees are going ahead and selecting a guy, Cole Young from North Allegheny High School in Pennsylvania. He's a fun prospect. He really is, and he very well could go higher. But there's one concern for me in terms of Cole Young is he going to be able to, actually just sign? And that's been a big question mark. There's some big rumors that he's going to go ahead and go back or go to college. I don't know if that's true. He's got really good back to ball skills, good arm. But if he does go to school, this is a risky pick. That the fact that there is a chance he goes to high school is really, really, really risky. Now at 26, we have the Chicago White Sox. I have Gabriel Hughes from Gonzaga, one of the most tried and true pitchers in all of college baseball. I love what he brings to the table. I think when you're considering the Chicago White Sox organization, they have to get better once again at the overall depth of their starting pitching. Gabriel Hughes is going to be, one of the more polished college arms that you see. And I think that's going to be beneficial for a team that's, when you're looking at overall, where do they sit in terms of timeline? They're probably going to want a guy that's a little more established rather than having to wait 4 or 5 years for a prospect. So Gabriel Hughes is a little bit closer to their timeline. Zach Neto from Campbell College is an exciting prospect. I know there are some people that don't like him, but I think with his glove and everything, he could be a fun prospect for the Milwaukee Brewers. I had him going earlier in my last mock draft. He slides a little bit here, but the Milwaukee Brewers, from a depth standpoint in the organization, could use another shortstop. This is an advanced player. I think he's super competitive, a guy that's got a good glove and also can hit to all fields. So once again, Milwaukee Brewers here at 27. 28, Dylan Beavers. Now, Dylan Beavers out of California is one of those prospects that is pretty exciting defensively. I think he brings a lot there. You know, his ability to track balls in the outfield is pretty impressive. You know, very, very good defender. He's got the big upside in terms of his power, which that is something that will be enough to sell this Astros organization. So I like this for the Houston Astros. Once again, a moldable player in terms of, you know, what his power output could be, but also a tried and true defender in the outfield. 29, Jacob Melton from Oregon State, another Oregon State product. This college continues to push out a lot of really, really good college players. If you're the Tampa Bay Rays, I think it's no secret that they have a lot of pitching within their organization. They just got to continue to get better hitters, and Jacob Melton's another guy that can do that for you. I think with the Tampa Bay Rays, they do a great job with the starting pitching. Don't get me wrong, but they got to add some more to these outfielding prospects. They got a couple of nice infielders. However, I think they are lacking slightly in the outfield in terms of the prospects that they have. And then finally, the last guy I have, Justin Campbell, the electric right-hander from Oklahoma State. I think the San Francisco Giants, who have built a really, really good foundation, are going to be looking at a guy like Justin Campbell as a guy that can really move the needle as a starting pitcher. So I like this. Getting a tried and true right-hander right out of college is going to be beneficial for this Giants team. Thanks again for stopping by. Hit that subscribe button if you are new. Also, leave a like on today's video if you did enjoy the content. I had a lot of fun making this, so let me know some of the prospects you're excited for in the draft, and we will catch you in the very next Utility Sports video.